All right, well, let's kill, fuck, marry some bets. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I'm calling this kill, fuck, marry second tier elections for Degens. Speaking of being bad entertainer, that's not a very splashy title, but these are three elections that very few people care about, but we do because we are Degens just like you. So KFM, kill, fuck, marry. Let's do it. Okay, so first up, Alaska's congressional district primary, Sarah Palin versus Nick Begich, kind of two political dynasties. Santa Claus, the man thrown in there somewhere, very crowded field. Second, you already teed up, is the San Jose mayor's race. And third, we are now a week past the first round of voting in Colombia's presidential election. We had Ian Bizik from Seeking Alpha talking about that recently. Three second-tier elections, all very degen friendly. Would you care to kill one of them?
Well, I'm gonna have to say Colombia only because I know nothing about it. But yeah, I would definitely refer people back to the interview you did with Ian. I thought it was very good.
Well, political violence is a thing in Colombia. I don't know if you can make jokes about killing that election.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have thoughts on that one? I just do not know a thing about it.
I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's like, I mean, Ian said it artfully, and the polls more or less are kind of proving it out that this Gustavo Petro, like Bernie Sanders / former communist death squad guy, he just seems to be maxed out at like 40 to 45% of support. And it's to me an inevitability that the right-wing candidate will just, beat him marginally.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say that I don't have anything of substance to talk about here, but I will just point out, I mean, Hernandez not too long ago was trading well under 5%. So, I think it just kind of goes to show if you can figure out even a little bit what's going on in a foreign election or kind of a low knowledge, limited liquidity kind of thing, I mean, you can get a pretty serious return in these. Unfortunately, I did not. But
I mean, you do get the idea that in some of these foreign countries that literally all of the rich guys kind of get scared and they call a meeting and they just sort of pick some guy that is going to be their cipher. And, all of a sudden Rodolfo Hernandez goes from zero to the likely next president overnight.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why it's oftentimes safer just to bet against overpriced favorites, because you just never really know. Like, you can know when someone's a favorite that shouldn't be, but it's very hard to know, who should be in the post position.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe this is for another pod, but I think that kind of a strategy could pay very big and predict its next leader out markets.
Yeah. Okay, so you're killing that race. I'm actually going to fuck the Colombia president race. I think that is a great one to hit and quit. It's pretty straightforward. Probably isn't going to be one you want to stick with for the rest of your life, though. Very unpredictable down there. You, my friend, need to decide whether you're going to wed yourself to the Alaska primary or the San Jose mayor's race.
I think I'm probably going to marry the actually, let me take that back. I think I'm going to marry Alaska. And I am basically...
Are you into polyamory?
In this case, maybe. I mean, I've been making the argument on this pod for some time that I think Sarah Palin is highly overpriced. Now, the markets are finally starting to correct. And as of right now, Palin is now down to 47%, Nick Begich down to 45%. I think that, the election is tomorrow. I think if Sarah Palin underperforms, I mean, that price could definitely dip. So I'm just going to continue to say keep shorting Sarah Palin. And then I also think what I like about this market longer term is that there's definitely room for some degen plays too. So my general view is that Nick Begich is the favorite. But basically what's going on in this race is that after Saturday's election, the top four people advance into the general election. And the markets appear to be of the view that basically the top three are more or less settled, that it's going to be Palin, Begich, and then the independent Al Gross. But the fourth, the markets seem to think that it's going to be Tara Sweeney. who is also a Republican. I guess that what I'm confused by, and then there's also kind of a subset of traders who think that Santa Claus is going to be number 4. The markets are giving him like a 25%.
By the way, his name is actually Santa Claus. It's not made
Yeah,
up.
I mean, it's some Bernie bro with like a massive white beard who literally looks like Santa. The markets are saying that he is has a 26% chance of finishing in the top 4. The thing that I am wondering, and I'm hoping that someone listening can like weigh in on this, is if you have a totally fractured field and Santa turns out to be a meme, like not a serious guy, what I'm wondering is, would there not be an argument to that basically a Democrat fills out the 4th spot, just because like the minority of voters in Alaska, a sizable minority who are Democrats, would kind of get behind one candidate. The Republicans would all be fractured. Santa would be a meme, and they get in there. So, and if that's the case, I mean, maybe that's an argument for buying 1% lottos on Mary Peltola, who is in the Alaska legislature and seems to be spending a fair amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, I even pulled the sample ballot for the primary, or whatever you call this. I don't know what the special primary election. That's what it's called. Santa Claus, first of all, it's incredibly crowded. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen 40 names on one ballot. So when a ballot gets that crowded, I actually think a name like Santa Claus sort of recedes. And it also recedes because it's Claus, Santa. That has a very different ring to it than here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, da 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 da. You know, it's Claus, Santa. It doesn't jump out on the ballot. You know, if I'm unserious and I'm a meme voter, it makes it very hard for me to find the meme. So I'm actually very bearish on Santa Claus making it out of this round too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shorting him in the predicted thing. I could end up getting blown out there, but I just, as a general rule, think, you know, when you have a bunch of guys addicted to the internet, you know, betting on memes, that in the long term, shorting that probably is the right strategy. So yeah, I guess what I'm going to say, and by the way, do you have a view on Al Gross, like whether or not lottos are worth it there?
Bro, what makes you think I know who the fuck Al Gross is?
All right, well, I mean, I'll offer a kind of a tentative view. I am staying out of that one because I think the argument for betting on him is basically that you have a bunch of fractured Republicans and this independent guy comes through. I'm staying out of Gross only because I'm kind of betting on the assumption that Sarah Palin is just going to kind of crater in the coming months.
Glad you're
but I think
staying out of Gross. It's good. So I'm glad you're staying out of Gross.
Yeah, but I am going to watch that for lottos, and you know, there might be an argument to get in there later if the Republicans end up being fractured.
So I was actually going to kill this race because it's just, I don't have the patience, and it's so fractured. And it's like, you know how as a trader, you just sort of get to know what you're good at and what you're bad at. These type of races start to give me like the alarm, heebie-jeebies when they're so split up. So I don't know. They're easier for you. They're harder for me.
In that vein, I'm also going to say, I know people don't like to bet on high prices necessarily, but I'm going to say just buy nose on Tara Sweeney. You can get nose on her at 91, 92%. I just don't see a scenario in which she is the Republican that manages to beat out both Begich and Palin. And if for whatever reason she doesn't get the 4th slot, you could just that could just go to 0 right after Saturday evening. So that's, in my view, a relatively safe way to bet on this one.
I'm totally with you on that. I like that. I don't know anything about Tara Sweeney, but the fact that she's going up against kind of 2 dynastic politicians, you know, plus insert outsider, that does not spell success to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the last thing we have to deal with is, I guess I am going to call ma épouse. I'm going to marry the San Jose mayor race, and you've gotten deeper into this than I have, but we sort of teased it a little up front. I just think these types of matchups, the trend is pointing in one direction. I'll say it that way, and this is a very cheap way to bet on the trend.
I mean, yeah, so right now, look, the market prices are all over the place, but now Cindy Chavez is back up to 90%, Matt Mahan 21%. I'm just basically going to figure out ways to short Chavez, and you have until November to sort of see where that one goes. I just, worst case, she maintains kind of a steady lead and you get out without too much of a loss. But I think this is a pretty obvious uh, place where you buy the underdog.
Absolutely. It is a great season to buy underdogs in Dem primaries. Well, that's it. I mean, that's the show, bro. Did I forget anything?
Yeah, sounds good.
Wow, you really just helped me land that like a fucking frying pan. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll be back soon, boys. For Star Spangled Gamblers, I'm Keen Dog. Pratik, thank you as always.